Come on in. Come on in. We're going to get rid of Biden.
Bye-bye, Sleepy
He is the worst president in the history of the United States, and he's horrible to the black community. Like it or not.
Been that way since a senator.
Community bad. And check out his record in the 1990s. Check out his record in the 1990s.
Your economically was for us.
Well, opportunities.
Best
job numbers ever.
The first step egg. Let's talk about it.
And again, the colleges and universities. Yeah. I just get the whole thing now.
Yeah. I got you.
Thank you. Can I get one picture?
What you are seeing is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Someone who paints his face tan. You cannot make this up.
Nigga, did you know that I can see you? Nigga, you right.
Listen, it's crazy how this dude really panders to us as black people, and we fall for it. I'm just telling you right now, if you don't like politics here, this is not the place for you, because I'm gonna be ripping this dude up like every chance I get. But the reason why that made my countdown is because when I went to the comment section, y'all know by now, I tell you so many times, you go to the comment section, you're gonna see the gold. You're gonna get to see what people are actually feeling. And when I saw the comments, I said, oh God, here we go. And they were saying, he's for the people. He's for us. We don't know why he doesn't like us. Turns out he went to a Chick-fil-A. He didn't have to do that. And he bought people milkshakes. Then I looked and found out, just like everything else, this was a setup. It was staged. Everybody who was there were already Republicans. And so it really is not like he's for the people. This is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Hey, Shantina. And so I'm like, why do people defend this stuff? And I get it. You don't like Biden. I get it. But then you let this dude lie to you. He said the best job numbers ever. That's not true. Biden has that. Biden has that, believe it or not. The best job number ever, that's Biden. The best stock market ever, that's Biden. Number one GDP in the world right now, that's United States. So we're leading in so many categories right now, but keep thinking that this guy is really for you. Got to do better. And I'm not saying who you should vote for. I'm not voting for this clown, but do your research before you start to say and bite into the lies. I mean, every time he opens his mouth, he lies. You need to be able to, I think that's where we are, because we fail to understand how Washington works as a people, talking about black people now. We don't research people. We don't do. He said, look at what happened in the 90s. I don't know if y'all know this, but I lived in the 90s. And last I checked, it was black people forcing or really putting pressure on Congress to move because of the the epidemic with the drugs and the gangs, colors, and throwing up everything that was going on. So they was like, you got to do something. You got to do something. And then what do you think was going to happen? You can't tell people to do something. Then when they do it, you don't like the results. Well, they weren't having gang issues where they live. They weren't having these issues. So if he was a Republican and did it, you would have been mad and say he was racist. And you just totally overlook only one of these people between Biden and Trump has been sued and lost because he settled, but he still lost for discrimination against people who look like me. It's only one of these people who've continuously been sued and continuously been brought to the carpet for stuff that they do for people who look like me. All I'm saying is to us as a people, don't let it be said that you want to hide something from us, put it in the book. Just do your research. And if after the research you don't like somebody, then vote your conscience. But don't just take somebody's word for it. They don't want to be educated. We test our word over actions. I agree. And like I said, I will never tell you how to vote. I'm telling you, I'm not voting for them. There's no way in the world you can get me to vote for somebody with 91 criminal counts against them. And my father used to always say, everybody ain't lying on you. Somewhere you did something. And isn't it ironic that the same person on the same court that said this same system was correct when they got the Central Park 5, this same system, now you're saying it's corrupted. This is the same system you celebrated. You wanted the Central Park 5 to be killed. Actually, you wanted them to be KO'd. But then now you want to say they're against me. And it's always laughable when I hear people from that side of the world talk about how unfair the criminal system, the court system is. Really? Because when we complain about the system and how it's unfair, we are left with, well, just don't do crimes. But when they're against it, now you have everybody doubting the justice system. It was funny to hear these news media people from both sides say, well, people, they don't trust the justice system. We've been saying that for years. When they say it's a jury of our peers and you walk in and none of the jury look like you. You just can't make this up, people. So I'm not telling you who to vote for. If you want to vote for them, I'm still flabbergasted that you would vote for this con man, RAP3ist, this dude that calls everybody who looks like me, who does anything against them, he calls them racist every time. And you just totally just miss all of that. Oh, I just like him because he's rich. Really? The same rich guy that couldn't even front his own money for his bond? He couldn't front his own money. He had to go through a bond company, through an insurance company. And he went through, listen, let me say this. How can I come in here and say my credit is so good and the only way I can get a car is to go through one of those third rates that say any credit will do? You just sign your name, we'll give you a car. If I had to get my car through them, would you doubt that I have good credit? So if a rich man tell you I'm super rich, I'm so rich that it's crazy how rich I am. Nobody's richer than me. I'm rich. But I got to go through through a bondsman to get $175 million? Y'all can't be this. Come on, people. Let's not, okay, if you don't want to vote for blue, that's fine. Some of you are bigots. I'm going to talk about one in particular on Preachers Going Wild soon. Some of you just bigots. You don't like gay people. You don't like transgender people. You don't like lesbian people. Fine. And that's a good reason for you to hate Biden. Not knowing that these people existed long before Biden even walked into an office. But nevertheless, I don't like them because I don't like them. Then you are a bigot. I get that. Maybe you're a bigot. But I can't see myself holding hands and shaking hands with people who really celebrated, was probably loving those pictures with people who look like me, look like barbecue. You know what I'm talking about. I just couldn't see myself being on that same side and be okay with it. So vote your conscience. Anyway, let's continue. Saw this. I'm in a marriage club, people. Don't know why I'm here. I was added to this group, or I was invited. I decided to join it. I've been in this group for years now. But it's funny because to see posts like this, I'm like, okay, good Lord. But the post said, my husband got a second job just to pay for my dream trip to Africa. I love him. And people looking at this on face value and say, oh, well, what's wrong with him working the second job to pay for his wife to go to Africa? And I'm saying nothing's wrong with that. But I'm thinking a lot of men in the comment section were upset. They were saying, this doesn't make any sense. What kind of man would do this to work? These lights are extremely hot. And I got my air on and it's still hot with these lights. I got to get better lights. But anyway, some men were pushing back and saying, we're not with this. Why would we do that? So it turns out I had something to say because they were talking about the men being triggered. And I would think you'd be able to read the room, ladies. If you are in a room and men are saying something, and I mean, especially if you're not married, you would think you would want to hear from what the men are saying. but they were ignoring them. Again, I'm not against you. If your husband wants to get another job just to send you to Africa and you okay with that, so be it. But you can't be upset with other men that are saying it's better things that we could do with this money outside of me getting a second job. Because if he's getting a second job and y'all already working, that means he's probably out the house 8 hours. Now, somebody said to me that, let me post what I said first. That would be best. Let me post what I said. I said, I see a lot of women, because they were going at the men. I see a lot of women in this post who are triggered by men not thinking this is good. It's not being negative. It's being logical. So let me get this straight. You would be okay with your man literally working himself to death, not for retirement savings, investments, children college fund, lowering debt, or saving for a better home, but for a trip? Also, if there are children, his time with them would be it would decrease. His time with you would diminish, which is important for a marriage, in my opinion. I've never been married, but I'm thinking a man never at home, that's an issue. That could be an issue for your intimacy, which is important, especially for men. He would most likely be too tired to do anything but work. But you celebrate all of that because you want a trip? That seems kind of selfish, which is why the more analytical men here are not on board. That's all I said. Do y'all know that the admins for this group deleted this comment? Deleted this comment. And I'm sitting up here like, well, why? All I did was bring a different perspective. The men were saying, this doesn't make sense for me to get another job just to send you to Africa. That's all they were saying. And they were getting lit up. The other side of this is how much you never been to Africa in this showing, Trina. You never been to Africa. I need you to go look up, because they weren't talking about sending her to Zimbabwe or Sudan. They was talking about like Seychelles and the better parts of this continent. You know, if you ever been to Joburg, I'm telling you, it's expensive. It could be expensive. The trip to Africa is not cheap. And if he working a second job, that means still, I don't care if it would, what other second job could he do unless he's at home? Which brings me to this point. Contrary to popular belief, there's a small percentage of jobs that you can do at home. IT, which is what I do during the day, I can do that fully, well, not fully, but 90% of the stuff that I do, I can do at home. My boss, who I love, I had an instant that they checked on me. That made me feel so good. That made me feel really good that that's why I love them. I love that job because they care so much about me. But she would literally call me and say, Mr. Hearne, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I need you to look at this. I need this camera, this. I need this. Most of the stuff that I'm not going to say her name, but most of the stuff that they have me do, I could do here. But I do go in. But you got IT, you got certain jobs that you can do, but most jobs would require you to be on premise. And there are a lot of IT jobs that require that too. An hour of Uber, I get that, but an hour Uber I don't think gonna pay for a trip to Africa. And even if it could, that's a second job. I don't think that that's necessary. But here's the thing. Again, if you are a man and you want to please your wife, because there's some men that want to do that, I'm not knocking you. Do it because that's what you want to do for your wife. But there were women in this comment section that say, I wish my husband would take notes. Maybe he got different priorities. Maybe he has different goals for you guys. Maybe he can't afford it. Maybe right now it's not financially feasible to send you to Africa. Maybe, just maybe, y'all need to work on some stuff between y'all before he thinks he should send you to Africa. It's a host of reasons, but every reason a man gave was really, it wasn't even pleasant. A lot of those wasn't even pleasant. It was not pleasant. Those remarks were crazy bad. And if it was me, I'll be like, this is gonna come across to be real mean, but I need to say it. Your husband doesn't owe that to you. He doesn't owe that to you. That's why I think you need to prioritize before you get married. I never been married, but I ain't dumb enough to get into no marriage with not knowing where we going with this thing. I'm not stupid enough to do that. Thank you. He said it's no treat. He be putting in some serious. That's what I'm saying. Africa, go look at them flights to Africa one way. Go look at, and I'm not talking about to the countries where you literally got to hide out in the bush to avoid people. I'm talking about the good places. No, I would never want to send my wife to some places like there in Africa, just like in some place in the United States. How I look, send them, hey, where you going? I got you a plane one-way ticket to Crenshaw. You gonna be like, wait, what? No. If she got a job and her money isn't putting into the house, she better be paying for her own trip. They want men to pay all the bills and pay for those trips. And he's already working his Sanda off, right? Let alone spending time with you. Yet he has a heart attack and dies. Exactly. Which is what they thought happened to me. Because you can be overly exhausted and your body will let you know. It will. And you don't want the scare that I had. It wasn't a heart attack, but it was scary enough. Well, I had to calm and sit my tail down for a few days. And I'm going to do a lot more of that and change some other things. But you get where I'm going. The paramedics came out and had to go to the hospital. I'm okay, people. But still, you do not want to overwork. I was overexerting myself. I wasn't resting properly in anything. And I'm just saying, men were saying this, and they were not listening because you're so focused on what you want, which brings me to this next point. This lady gets in trouble because she said something that some of you may not agree. I know one won't. She said a man will put his happiness aside for his woman, but a woman will put her man aside for her happiness. Now, this is not universally true. This is not universally true. But I will say this. I have heard more women say they haven't been happy with their men than their men saying they haven't been happy. And I have mostly conversations with men. So that's crazy. With all the conversations I have with men, I've heard very few of them say she didn't make me happy. I've heard very few of them, but I've heard many women say I left him because he wasn't making me happy. So this is not universally true. I'm sure some people will weigh this scale to be certain different, but I think what men consider happiness is different from what you consider being happy. You may consider being happy as way you feel. A man can say you're not happy because some needs that that's not being met, but he won't say happy. He just said my needs not being met because we don't say happy. Now, having said that, this may be true. It may not be true. Let me say this for both men and women. It is not a man or woman's job to make you happy. That is not their job. Their job, and I saw this one thing, I can't post it because it's Steve Harvey, and YouTube and Facebook could be like, hey, bro, you got to take that down. But this lady got up and said, his number one priority is to make me happy. And she got applauses. Name one time a man got up and said that. You cannot. Because we don't say a woman's number one priority is to make us happy. That's not something I've ever heard a man say. I don't think I've ever heard a man say it. But she said it and got applauses. But let me say again, this goes for men and women. It is not another person's job to make you happy. At the bare minimum, they should not take away from the happiness that you've already acquired. And at the most, they should be able to add to this said happiness. But the problem is we get into these situations and we look at it and say, oh, he's not making me happy. Well, how you feel can change every day. You may not feel the same way tomorrow that you do now. You got love bunnies in your eyes now, but tomorrow you may be like, I don't like this mother father. I don't like this dude. He not making me happy. Why? Because I want this gold diamond bracelet and he won't buy it. Because it be stuff like that. It don't be that he don't pay bills. It doesn't be that he don't try to do for you. It's not even that he's loyal and he's honest with you. It's little stupid stuff. Well, he didn't get the car that I wanted, or we not living the way I want to live. That's going to come up a little later, but let's move on. my number one heckler was gonna get on here. If it's not their job to make you happy, then of course it's not their job to make you unhappy. That should go without saying. Really? This is where we at, right? Where I have to physically say it's not their job to make you unhappy. This is where we at. I shouldn't have to say that. I clearly said at the bare minimum, they should take away from your happiness. I clearly said that. So come on, man. Give me a break. What up, Maurice? Give me a break. Don't bust my chops. Say it all really bad. Wait, I gotta go back before Preacher's Going Wild, because I gotta show y'all something. This is gonna make you laugh. Y'all listen, this is gonna make you laugh. Check this out. This dude, I don't know where they are, but this dude is literally sitting behind the wheel of a car. This dude has made doofus of the week. Look, he's literally smoking it, and the police right behind him.
Nigga, did you know that I can see you?
Dude, when I said, dude, are you freaking kidding me? I couldn't believe it when I saw him rolling up and the police sitting behind him. First thing came to my mind was, nigga, he can see you. He said that like, I know the dude was like, I know when the dude was rolling up, right? When the dude was rolling up that joint, I'm sure he was like, the police couldn't believe what he was seeing. And the whole time,
God, you can't make this shit up.
Dude, it's something about this new weed. It's something about it. When I was younger, which was a while ago, when I was younger, they used to call it the REEFE word, right? Arthur, right? And they used to call it, but they used to do that. And of course, they got, intoxicated, if that's what your word of choice, lit, whatever your word of choice is. Of course that happened. But this new stuff, it's doing it must be potent because it got these people wigging out where they feel like, I took behavioral sciences in college, right? And one of the things they had was this chart of the high, they based the potency or the, it's a word, it's right on the tip of my tongue, but they ranked these drugs based off of how dependent this person would be to it, right? They would rank it and say this level of dependence, which means it's hard to wean off. You, of course, your crack was up there, your rich man's drug was up there, and the one that you shoot in your arms, the one that starts with HER. Those were at the top. You had your list of them. And somewhere towards the bottom was reefer, right? Towards the bottom. But I think this new stuff is been raised up because they feel like they can't do nothing without it. They can't show up to church without it. Like, we shouldn't be telling people not to smoke weed. You mean to tell me you can't do a whole day? You got to come to church smelling like, and then you try to cover it up. Listen, if you're going to cover it up, use a clean cologne. Don't use a sweet one. Don't use a Prada or a Baccarat for whatever, that's what name of it. I got it in there. I can't even pronounce it. Don't use one of those. Don't use an Yves Saint Laurent because all of those smell pleasantly soft. You don't use those. You need to use something like a Creed or something like an Aramis. Go old school. Something that's got that woodsy smell to it, so at least try to cover it up. But you wear something like a Yope and smoking weed, so it smelled like a combustion of foolishness. If you gonna smoke weed, at least wear the right cologne with it. That's my point. You come to church smelling like that. Look, I went old school with Aramis. That used to be the deal. Some of y'all don't even know what Aramis is. You know what funk is, but you don't know what Aramis is. Aramis has a woodsy, darker smell to it. It smells like almost like you would smoke. But it was back in the day. When I used to wear it when I was way younger, it was irresistible to the ladies. Not so much these days, but you got to do something if you want to smoke weed. But I can't understand why it consumes Yeah, look, I'm knowledgeable about covering it up because I'm knowledgeable about covering it up because I do know, if for nothing else, I know the different fragrances of colognes because I spent like a quarter of a century smelling with all colognes and stuff like that. I made it a thing. So yeah, but I do know there's some colognes out here that can kind of go with this weed smell. So you be like, nigga, is that I think it's weed, but it smell like a dark cologne. Now, having said that, it doesn't work with t-shirts. You got to wear a collar shirt, something dark, something, you know what I'm saying? Something like sophisticated. You shouldn't wear those kind of colognes with a t-shirt. That doesn't work well. If you wear a t-shirt, you should wear something softer or something a little bit more darker. You could probably get away with elixir if that's your thing or something like that. You don't do that. You should wear something more distinguished if you're going to smoke weed, you got to know how to, before church, you better know how to cover it. You better know how to cover it. So y'all don't know how to cover it. So you come in wearing a soft cologne, like a one. How many of you in my comment section are familiar with 1 million? One, it's a gold. It has do I have it? It's in there. I don't feel like going to get it. It's a gold bar. It looks like a bar, a gold nugget, right? It's not a dark smell. It's a sweet smelling cologne. It's a softer cologne. You don't smoke weed and put that on. It's like you might as well just take the weed out and put it right here and just let everybody know, because it's gonna blow that away. You don't wear that. It's just that simple. You just don't wear that with that. Maybe Creed. Maybe you don't wear Tom Ford with it. Reason why, I'm giving you a lesson so you can be blessed, my fellow musicians and people who smoke weed before you go to church. Tom Ford is already a very complicated cologne. There's not a Tom Ford that I've smelled that doesn't smell complicated. It opens up with so many different fragrances. The lingering smell is different. And when you walk away, it smells something totally different. It's weird. Tom Ford is like that. There's a couple of others that's like that. But the Tom Fords that I've smelled, they all got that smell. Every single one of them. You really, Tom Ford is one of those weird colognes that you like it, but you don't. You know what I'm saying? But you don't mix that with weed. You don't mix that with weed. Yeah, you better ask people about me, Trina. People who know me know that I like to smell good. I don't, you know. But this Prada I've been wearing, been getting a lot of compliments. And usually when I wear Prada stuff, it usually, it's okay. But this one in particular been getting a lot of comments. I like that. Well, yeah, of course, funk. Dude said funk. Okay, let's go on. Preachers Going Wild, y'all, so we can get going. Just had to get going with that. I love going to the altar when I was younger. I grew up in Kojic Church. I used to love to go to the altar, get prayed for and everything else. But it's something happening at these altars that's making it different, right? And I just heard something today. I was told a story that kind of made me be like, wow, because it ain't just happening at the altar, it's happening, period. But this happened at the altar, and I want to know what you guys think about it. Look, when have you ever seen that? Like I'm gonna pray for you, but now everybody who knows me know I don't like all that. Don't do that to me. But I mean, whatever. But she was not having it. She didn't want this man to touch her at all. And a fight ensued literally at the altar. Like I didn't know if I was watching 2 adults or 2 children. That's what it looked like, 2 kids. But I'm like, dude, what in the world is going on? You fighting literally at the altar? This is where we at with it? We fighting at the altar because you want me to pray for you and I can't. And you don't want me to. Is this what's happening? You can't make this up. I'm going to show it one more time. It's that last flick for me. It's the last flick for me. Just you gonna get this word, you get this oil. But I agree with you, Timothy. She should have stayed in her seat. What up, Stetson? We won't have the same issue we had last time, my boy. But yeah, whew, that was crazy. Now, let me say this. It's known that musicians, we see everything. And Sunday was no different. I'm not gonna put us out there, fellas. I love you. I love my brothers. But yeah, we see everything. And every now and then, somebody comes across during offering or something like that. And even Bishop, he knows too. Bishop is so funny. He knows too. And he be like, I want to see y'all eyes. I want to see what y'all looking at. I want to make sure we But you see musicians, my fellas, you know what I'm talking about. You see a woman run around that table, and me, I got this down to a science. They laugh at me every time. When I see her coming, and all of them like, whoa, and I'll be like, I won't even look. I look away like, I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look. And they laugh. They think it's the funniest thing. But never have I seen a preacher do it until now.
You see all? Whoa!
Was he wrong though? What? Listen. Was he wrong? I'm willing to give dude a pass. I'm serious because depending on what he saw, he's probably taking off guard. You know, you get up, she right in the front of the church, and she get up, and that mug look like a couple of meat wagons. He like, whoa. Now, if he's married, there's going to be problem when he get home. If you married, bro,
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
You can't do that. You marry, you just don't do that because your wife, she definitely. If you do that, your wife's still sitting there. It's like dumb. You really asking yourself for that because it's like
it was at this moment that he knew he f***ed up.
You just don't do it. You just don't do it. So that's what I want to say. I want to know. Wait. Jaden said saw a preacher was laying hands on a woman and she grabbed his hand and whispered in his ear, "Please don't knock my wig." Oh my God, dude, for real? For real? You just cannot make this up. You just can't make it up. Dude, are y'all reading this? It be some weird stuff happening at the altar. I'm not even gonna hold you. But I think some of the stuff that's being said in church now as it relates to sex in the pulpit, it's just getting too crazy. I think we're becoming too comfortable speaking in this way over the pulpit. And whereas there are times where it's okay, but sometimes we push that envelope too much. Let me let y'all listen to this. You tell me what you think.
But you like it. You like it because it look good. You like it. Pow, 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 pow. She got it going on. You like that. Y'all better stop liking butts and booties and start getting in people's brains.
Wait, I'm gonna pause this real quick because I need to say this. The one reason why I don't agree with this, stop looking at butts and booties, because men are attracted to physical features. We just are. We will ascertain if you're good for us on your brains after we are attracted to you. It is the initial attraction that gets you in the door. So there are more things, and we know that there are more things more important to a man and should be than butt. But make no mistake about it. It's a very important thing to us. We should never downgrade that. A man's physical attraction to his wife, to his woman, that's high. And stop trying to make us feel bad for being men. God made us this way.
That booty ain't real anyway. It's perpetration. It's pretend. It's plastic. It's fluids.
think he just took a shot at BBLs. Well, obviously didn't know thinking. He actually took a shot at BBLs. What do you think about them, fellas? Do y'all like BBLs? Tell the truth. Shame the devil, like they say, the elders say. The elders, they say, tell the truth, shame the devil. Do you like BBLs? I see some jacked up ones to the point that I'm like, nah, because it looks like, and I always joke and I say this to a couple of people. Fred, I said it goes leg, 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 booty, back. You know, it's like a booty just comes out of nowhere. I don't like surprise booties. I don't like booties that just pop up on me on a whim. So if I'm looking at your legs and I'm coming up and then all of a sudden it's a booty, you know, it's gonna scare me. Don't scare me. I don't like horror movies. I love horror movies, but not like that. Not horror movies like that. Don't scare me. She said no. No. And it's the organ, right, Kayla? It is the organ. He says the organ for me. When the thighs don't match. Can you really tell it's fake? Yeah, you can. I actually can tell when it's fake. For one, well, if it's a bad doctor, which most of them are, you can tell when it's bad because first of all, you shape like an ant. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's like a watermelon sitting on toothpicks. You know, it's really bad because nobody knows how to do things in moderation anymore. So whereas you could probably make it accentuate a booty. Now, if you got that booty that's so flat that it's actually did a reverse or it's obtuse or an angle that goes beyond 90 degrees, then yeah, we got a problem, you know, then. But if you got a 90-degree booty and you just wanted to have a little humpage back there, then do the little humpage. Just something, you know, you just need a little handle. You don't need a doorknob. Just a little handle, just a little bit something, you know, just a little bit. But y'all be out here with this booty hanging all the way out here. Then when you walking, it's like nobody want that because I don't want that clasping up against me because I didn't post it, but it's a story going around that them BBLs be stinking. And you want to know why? Because with great booty come great responsibility. You can write that down. With great booty come great responsibility. You see, I have a big posterior. I have a butt. So people with big booties, big booty ladies, tell the truth and shame the devil. It takes special attention. You can't just run through the shower. You gotta squash it, squash it, squash it, squash it, squash it. You gotta wash that thing. And y'all don't. So it be smelling like Megatron on steroids. It be smelling like gun smoke. And it's not good. Yo, get up air is bad. You say you can't drive. Listen to me. I'm trying to help the people, Stacey. I'm trying to help the people. Hey, bro, you killing it over there at that church. Keep posting your lives. Stacey, you killing it. For real. Y'all sound so good. Y'all unit sounds so good over there. I'm so proud of you, man. Respect, bro. Respect. Y'all sounding good. I watch your lives. And y'all sound so good over there. Great job, man. Great job. I'm proud of you, brother. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that some things it was funny, but I don't know. I mean, see, I'm one of those people. I believe in person. I love panels at church. I love open discussions. I think this is the time for that. I think on Sunday mornings, I think we push the envelope a little bit too much. I could be reading more into it. I just think we push it too much. I just think we push it. Yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Spirit, let's do what we know.
Wait. You need to be sitting down. Tell me you sitting down. Because nothing can prepare you for what you're about to hear right now. Trust me.
Spirit, let's do what we normally do at 2 a.m. every day. Oh, Simba, I just wanna make love to you. Love one another, please fix it. Praise. This is your body.
What do you mean by that?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Can I play that one more time? I need to play that one more time.
Spirit, let's do what we normally do at 2 a.m. every day. Oh, Simba, Kate. I just want to make love to you and give you the praise.
This heifer said, I just want to make love to you and give you the praise. But don't, no. What we not going to do is talk about her and not talk about your worship leader. Because I've heard a lot of y'all get up here talking about let's make love to him. Do you realize what that says to me? I'm a man. Let's make love to him. Are you freaking kidding me? You don't say that. You don't say that. You just don't say it. What else will be doing? I'm supposed to be up there praising worship, and I got people thinking it's something else going on. What kind of junk is this? Super pause. Super duper pause. Like,
Pause.
for real. I don't want to make love to Jesus. I don't want to get intimate with him either. I don't want to do none of that. I want to worship. I want to reverence him. I want to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High. Is that a James Hall song? I sing praise unto thy name. Oh, is that James Hall? I do like that song. That's actually, I'm about to veer way off. The best James Hall songs that was ever done, you won't hear on the radio. You won't. That song, We Serve a Mighty God, those songs, you'll never hear on the radio. You won't. You got to buy the records. Those are my favorite ones. But anyway, that is James Hall. Okay, yeah. But what are you thinking about, ma'am, at 2:00? No, don't run. Come back here. Come here. Don't run. Come back. What are you thinking about at 2:00 in the morning? Because it ain't Jesus. It ain't Jesus. Because if you're talking about I want to make love to you and sing and praise your name, you just can't make it up. But see, that ain't even the worst thing that happened. Y'all ready? See, I told you this is crazy. There was a men's conference. I don't even know this place, but it was a men's conference. And I guess I don't know what reason they would have, but they had a man dancing in front of the church with it like a stripper at a men's conference.
Pause.
Right. Like, dude, what is going on? So Mark Driscoll, a preacher that I'm really not really cool with like that, his theology is kind of weird to me. Some of you may like him. I just don't particularly care for him. I don't follow him. But he took it upon himself at this men's conference to take a different route with it.
But let me do this. I've been up since 1:00 in the morning. The reason I'm hoarse is I have been praying for you, and my heart is very burdened for you.
Now, you see the dance in the front. You see that, right? Okay.
And I want to be very careful with this, and it's not what I want to say, but the Jezebel spirit has already been here. The Jezebel spirit opened our event. This is a rebuke and a correction of no one. This is an observation. Before the Word of God was open, there was a platform. It was a high place. On it was a pole, an ashtray. The same thing that's used in a strip club for women who have the Jezebel spirit to seduce men. In front of that...
Wait, stop. See, I don't think Jezebel's spirit, even though I don't really subscribe to that, but I don't think it had anything to do with strippers or anything like that. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing than Jezebel. I think Jezebel is more about controlling. A woman that's controlling, a woman that's dominating or domineering, is a woman that's that's manipulative. And you can't have a Jezebel without an Ahab. That's the part that people miss. You cannot have a Jezebel without an Ahab. What is an Ahab? An Ahab is a man that enables this behavior. An Ahab is a man that should be leading, but does not. He concedes to her and she calls the shots. That's Jezebel. So I don't think this poll has anything to do with it, but let's continue.
Was a man who ripped his shirt off like a woman does in front of a pole at a strip club. That man then ascended. See, our God is not arrogant. He doesn't ascend. Our God is humble. He descends. And then he swallowed a sword. And Jesus cried, okay, Pastor John, I'll receive that. Thank you.
He said, you're out of line and you're done. I'll give my commentary. I just wanted you guys to hear what he said because you probably couldn't hear it very well. None of it was a good idea.
Wow. Man. Let me just say this.
And see, does this look like a church or does it look like about the Klan rally? Well, same thing as a Trump rally, but doesn't this not look like that? People yelling and saying stuff like that. This is not a church. It's not a church. It's weird, but let's go.
If Mark wanted to say that, he should have said it to me first. He didn't. Matthew 18. If your brother offends you, go to him privately. I talked to Mark for a half hour. There was not one word of that. He's out of line. If he wanted to say it, he can say it to me. You may not agree with me. You may not agree with him. But we are brothers in Christ, and there's a right way to handle this.
Right, Harold. Right, they were ready to beat him down for this. Let me explain this to you. Matthew 18 has nothing to do with this. These two things are not the same. And you saying, well, D, how do you figure? Because he could have rebuked him in the back. He could have rebuked him in the back. But this thing happened in front of everybody. And he clearly said this wasn't a rebuke, it's an observation. If you call somebody to preach and they are prophesying, they're speaking under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, there's speaking. That's prophecy in the New Testament. We're so used to prophets being one to say, my sister in the back with the purple dress on, you're going through something. It's not necessarily what it was in the New Testament. New Testament, if you were speaking under the inspiration of the power of the Holy Spirit, you were able to speak. You can speak to people. You can correct. You can edify. It's funny, people can take you preaching to them and edifying, but when it comes to correction, you want me to go and pull you to the side. When this was done in front of everybody, the whole body saw it. Everybody saw it. The rebuke should have been public. Am I right? Am I right? The rebuke should have been public. So he was not wrong. He was not out of order. He did it in the way it should be done. You have a responsibility. That's why some of you running to preach. This is one of the responsibilities. You have to speak truth to power. And this man wanted him to pull him to the side. No, because you didn't do anything to him personally. You did nothing to him personally that required him to come to you on a personal matter. What you did affected numerous people. You had a man in front, which is weird. You know, a man taking off his shirt, dancing on a pole in front of a men's conference. I'm sorry, but to me, that's a sausage fest. I mean, if that's your thing, then go be merry. But you can't assume that every man in that place would want to see a man take off his shirt and dance on a pole. You cannot assume that. And you shouldn't, that shouldn't even be, like somebody posted before, that shouldn't even been something this shouldn't even be a conversation. It would been, and the crazy thing is, this is where the church messes up. I don't know what really happened here, but we can just go by what we see here, okay? We clearly see him rebuke it and got sat down. But the hypocritical thing about some churches is this. Had that been a woman, it would have been an issue. Had that been a woman, everybody would have been throwing, but now everybody was talking about Driscoll like he was wrong. Did y'all hear the people in the crowd booing and stuff? You just cannot make this up. Now, if it was a woman there, the only thing I would have asked was tell me so I can bring some dollars. No, but in all seriousness, it just has no place. I don't think this was something been done unless, and this is a reach on top of reach's reach. If this reaches to the highest mountain right here, but it's a reach that I'm finna go. There are no classes or places where men in church could talk about things that we need to talk about. One of which is how to sexually please our women, how to be sexy for our women. A lot of us, we feel that, hey, they gonna accept us the way we are. And that's the truth. I'm being honest. So if this was, and this is a straight, I said this is a reach. If this was a class on how to be seductive to your woman at a men's conference, it's the only thing that I probably would be like, you pushing it, it's a reach, but I understand because to be honest, there is no class. I've been in church my whole life. I'm dang near half a century, and I've never seen one class where they teach the men or talk about men later, whether say in this marriage class, we talk about this, where they teach men how to sexually please their women. There's no discussion about it. And I think at a men's conference would be a perfect place to do it, just not on video. Definitely not on video. And if this was part of that class, and I said this is a reach, and I'm telling you, I'm reaching. I'm like reaching, I'm reaching. If this was that, that's the only way I can kind of be like, but you gotta say, hey, this was a class teaching them how to seduce their wife and be sexy for their wife or something like that. You gotta say that. But I don't think this is what this was. I told you this is a reach, but that's the only way I can see it. Yeah, that's a pause on reach. They won't teach that because it's too real and not a church cliche. It's true. But if I was pastor of a church, I would teach it. I absolutely would have a men's class on married men on how to please your wife. A lot of these men, they think because they hung like a horse that pleases a woman, and it does not. I'm not going to give you the lesson today, but it does need to be classes. Fellas, y'all think y'all doing it, and you're really not. If the women would talk, they would tell you you're not. And so that would be the only reason why I would see this being. But if it ain't that, and again, that's even too much. But if it was that, you'd be like, okay, he teaching married men how to be sexy for their wives. What you gonna say? It needs to be a class for both men and women. I agree. Shut up, fool. Shut up, fool. You come on here with that, they about to lose tomorrow anyway, so we'll talk about that. But it does need to be a notes. It does notes. Raekwon, really? But it needs to be different. What intimacy versus sex? The funny thing is, to men, sweetheart, it's a fine line. And I think men need to understand for women, it is duality. But for men, it's not. We sometimes, not all the time, but some of us, a lot of us, we see sex and intimacy as one. We see it as units. We see it as a synonym. Women, y'all see it as two totally different things. Y'all tend to see it two totally different things. Y'all see sex, and then y'all see intimacy. Men, we see both. So I think it could be some classes that, but like I said, it's some things that we could do better. As far as I think those subjects are taboo in church, and I get it. I'm not married, so I wouldn't be in those classes yet. But yeah, if I was in those classes, I would definitely want you to talk about this stuff. I want to please my woman, because just me bringing home the bacon, or we doing okay financially and we getting along, I want our junk to be explosive. I want her to look in the heavens and see Jesus looking down at her like, yeah, that's what I kind of want. And I think if men and women, if there were more classes where we teach these things, I don't think the bedroom will be such an issue. And I'm seeing way more people speak against some certain aspects of sex in the bedroom with married people than I am seeing people talk about things that should happen in the bedroom. For example, men need to understand that women are sexually aroused before we get home. The way we treat them, the way we talk to them, and everything else. Men, we just see you walk across with your butt jiggling, and we already at the pinnacle. We ding, 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 ding. We ready to go. But women, you're different. Men, it don't take much for us to shoot the club. But women, mind got to be there. Body got to be there. Everything got on line for a woman to reach that certain point. Those are things that should be taught, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm not a pastor, so preachers don't get on live and don't get on your Facebook page leaving posts about me. I'm going to comment. But I'm just saying, I just think I haven't seen it. I haven't heard out of the many people I know that's married. Well, not many, but the people that are married, they're saying these things don't happen. And I just think it should. See this one say sometime. You stupid, man. Now I'm about to ship. I saw the most amazing thing. I think this is an old video. This is an old video, but I saw it was so amazing to me. It was amazing because you don't hardly see it. Things done of this magnitude. You're going to see what I'm talking about right now.
And sometimes when you do for God what he won't do for himself, he will do for you what you can't do for yourself. So the Lord spoke to me. We decided to buy cars for all of you. Look at your cars.
Yeah, you know the musicians about to you know the musicians about to get it in, right? You know what I'm about to do, right? The second they pulled off in them cars, I'm just saying. But that was amazing. The preacher, the pastor, actually bought his musician staff cars. When have you ever seen that? Now, I'm not saying buy me a car. I think I'm okay. You know, I like my car. I don't never get the higher end cars. I'm not really materialistic like that. But I like the car that I got. You know, I do. But how many times have you seen this? Like, I've seen some people get checks and whatever, but a car. That was crazy. Now, okay, they wasn't being, but listen, everybody's not caring about Teslas and all this other kind of stuff. The fact that he bought them cars, and they didn't look like used cars, it looked like they were new cars. And I'm extremely happy that that happened to them. I would love to see that happen to more musicians. And I think most musicians deserve it. Some of us do not, but most of us deserve it because we work tirelessly. We sacrifice. Some of us are there. I think Raekwon was here. Raekwon is at the church almost every day it's open, like 4 or 5 times a week. My drummer is the same way. I'm there a lot, you know, and I think, you know, if Bishop wanted to do, he doesn't have to do because we pretty much all we straight. But I'm saying if Bishop wanted to do something like that, that would be wonderful. He doesn't have to. And I think that's what makes this great because he didn't have to do that, but he did anyway. And I think that that's amazing. But it's something else that's going on with that I've been seeing. And I want to say this real quick before I close this show, the last thing. And we ain't going to be that section long at all. But yes, there will be real talk tonight. So we're about to get to it. But listen, I don't like the division between young musicians and older musicians. I saw a few posts, some by people I know, some people I care about. And I don't like the division. And I'm seeing a lot of younger musicians saying they don't particularly care for or respect, was one of the words one of my constituents used, older musicians. And I get it. Some of it is warranted. You know, some of the ways we talk, some of the ways we move, some of the ways we carry it with you guys. But then there's a level that, let me say this from an OG to a younger musician. Respect goes two ways. And a lot of older musicians feel like you haven't been respectful to us. And one of the things that I've seen recently is musicians that look at musicians that played back in the day and you say, oh, they sucked or they were bad or they were whack. But because you are comparing it to a different era. For example, Wilt Chamberlain was probably one of the most dominant basketball players in the history of the NBA, breaking records in scoring, in rebounding, block shots. Wilt the Stilt was dope. But when you watch videos of Wilt play, you will say he was whack because you so used to LeBron and now you got Wembanyama and all these other dudes that stuff that they could do, and you look at them and say, well, Wilt Chamberlain wasn't that good. I look at it like this. Back in the 70s, you had like this Coupe de Ville, the Cadillac, which was the king of the cars. In the 70s, you had a Cadillac, they said you were balling, right? But if I pulled up now with that Cadillac, instead of getting like a Tesla, new Tesla, Y series, you'd be like, well, that ain't nothing. That's a bucket or whatever. But you cannot look at these things now. You have to analyze it in the way that they were back then. So if I was a drummer back in the 80s killing, you got to put me up against the other drummers that played in that era. And if I pretty much ruled in that era, it doesn't matter what I sound like compared to now, because you're forgetting the fact that you should be better now because time has passed. You've learned from them. They set the standard. And so a lot of musicians that are older are saying, you've forgotten that. You forgot that they laid this groundwork for you. And you've learned from them. It irritates my soul to see these young people disrespect Michael Jordan. Without Michael Jordan, a lot of these players, they base their game off of him. Without Michael Jordan, the league would not be the same. But you trash him and you trash the whole era of basketball that he played in because you're so used to seeing this hot dog basketball that you see now. But that's unfair to them because they're not judged. They can't play in this era to show you how dominant they can be. And you cannot play in that era to show if you can play in that era. And things change over time. Alternators used to run cars, carburetors, alternators, and all this kind of junk where they used to sit on the top and he used to go out all the time. And Pops used to have to get up and screw that big thing off and move and make bam, 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 bam. Then the car start up. That day is gone. You got fuel injection now. You would never see a carburetor because you got fuel injector. You got all these different things. You get in my car right now and you will swear you was in a freaking spaceship. Because it's got lights and this big old thing going across the front with the radio and the speed and whatever and the map. And it looks like a spaceship in my car. I swear not, I lie not to you. Anybody that's been in my car will tell you look like a freaking spaceship up in there. But back in the day, you had the radio where you clicked it and you had to make sure you pressed it right because you was going to miss the channel. That used to be the top dog. You cannot compare eras. So they feel like you're being disrespectful because you're forgetting the groundwork that we laid for you because you feel like you are better. But sir, ma'am, you should be better. Shame on you if you are comparing yourself to the latter. You should be better. You should have evolved because the groundwork was laid. You don't drive on dirt roads. You drive on highways now. So your cars should be fit to drive on highways, even though, no cap, that Cadillac, if you get in an accident with that Cadillac, your Tesla is going to be ripped through and that Cadillac going to keep going. Just had to throw that out there. And it's kind of disrespectful to the older musicians. So how can you expect us to show you respect when you don't even respect what we've done? And every older musician is not like myself and other musicians that have used and watched you and evolved with you over time and can play this music the same way you can. Every musician is not like that. They're used to their style. They played that in the day, and some of them not even playing anymore. But we should not show disrespect to them. You should honor them. You should honor them and listen to their words, which brings me to the second thing. A lot of you don't like correction. We say something to you, you buck. We tell you how to carry yourself as men, you buck. We tell you not how to do business, you buck. You think we just picking on you. We really want better for you, but you're not used to correction. So if somebody tell you you should not be transposing because that's not a good look, now you offended and you want to leave posts. Well, now you want to say, oh, geez, oh, they picking on me. They not picking on you. You should not be transposing. You really shouldn't. You really shouldn't. If you transposing in 2024, you're not evolving. You haven't evolved. Period. Because evolution means you getting better. And if you're a musician, you're a keyboard player, you relying on transposing, or you're not really a great musician, but you're relying on computer technology to get you through, the older G's looking at us because we played this stuff. We're going to be like, we're not going to respect you because you need this laptop to do your work for you and you can't play. So why would we respect you? Respect is two-way. And regardless on which way this highway goes, it is earned. Nobody is going to give you anything just because you can play. Some of you are amazing, but your attitude is horrible. We can't respect that. I surely don't. You say anything, you buck. We tell you get uniforms, you don't want to wear them. You want to come in and be sunshine. You walk into church, you don't be in uniform, you wear what you want to wear. Next thing you know, you're going to have arrows pointing at the back of your shirt just like this, saying it's about me up in here. It's the Metroid Pistons, not the Detroit Pistons, the Metroid Pistons. Me. So we see that. And we try to guide you on this thing, this path that will keep you successful, but you don't want that. You want us to put you on a gig. But we're not going to do that because you're not ready for it. Because you're going to be fired because of your attitude. And then they're going to be looking at us. You sent us this son of a biscuit eater. What's wrong with you? Don't do that, y'all. I actually respect y'all. I've said it numerous times on this live. I respect the younger musicians. I love you. I love the fact that what you're doing, y'all guys are killing it and everything. There's some room for improvement. But that's for everybody. But you should never get to the point where you disrespect the ones before you so bad that you cannot hear what they're saying to you. They have your best interests at heart. You might want to listen to them because they've been where you want to go. And reason why you haven't gone there is because you refuse to hear good advice from those who want to help you. So this might be clipped up and posted where y'all can just try to rip me to shreds, and it would only prove my point that you don't want to hear from us, the ones that really care. There are some OGs that here that hate on you, of course, but there are some young ones that hate on the older ones. He ain't that good. Really? Okay. Let's keep this two-way respect. That's all I want. If you want respect, you earn it. You show respect. You want respect, you earn it. You show respect. That's the way this thing's going to work. That's the only way it's going to work. And I do my best not to try to disrespect you. I keep it 100, but I don't disrespect you. I treat you like men. Even though some of you act like children, I still treat you like men and women, of course. That's all I want to say about that. But let's just watch that. The OGs, most of us don't even care as much. It's so many of you, we can't follow all of you. Which brings me to this last point, and I'm not trying to piss you off. I'm really not. One of the reasons why the OGs probably, not me, before you try to, because I know how y'all are, not me, but the other OGs, the reason why they don't care for you too much because they haven't seen you play songs. They've seen you play shouts. But when a real song come up where you got to perform it and hit it, they don't believe that you can actually do it without help. They don't believe that you can learn this song to the T and do it. Two musicians that I know particularly that I've worked with that will learn a song to a T. One of them named Curtis Lindsay. When I tell you Curtis Lindsay, if you send Curtis a song, that man gonna learn every freaking thing in that doggone song. Of course, Razor will. Raekwon, I love you, bro, but Raekwon gonna be like, I learned at it. And that's cool, because a lot of times we switch stuff at the church, so really can't really go at him about that. But Razor will do it. But Curtis, oh yeah, he gonna learn it. And he be looking, and the funny thing, he'll look at me and be like, you missed that? Because I didn't think you learning everything. God dog, every accent, every hit, this what we doing? But I do know with Curtis, I gotta do that. But these are older musicians. I don't really see that. I don't see that attention to detail all the time, fellas, with the younger ones. Not all the time. I don't see it across the board. Not enough for you to say you earn the respect for those of us who do. That's something else you can work on. When they give you a song, you learn it. You learn it the way it goes. And you deviate. Like if you MD or something like that, of course you got room. But like if I hire you for something and I send you the material, when that rehearsal come, I expect you to know exactly the way it goes. Especially if I'm calling you for Ricky, I want you to learn because we ain't got room for you to deviate. You have to learn the patterns. You have to learn how the song goes. And I think sometimes that ball be dropped. That's just my opinion. But I love you. Let's do better. Because we all taking L's out here. Speaking of taking L's, let me move fast. I'm about to move fast. You ever see me go. Check this out. This dude right here. Y'all watch BMF? Charles taking L's out here. Charles is taking L's. We're going to Real Talk. We about to end. Give me 5-10 minutes. But this dude took L's. And here's the thing. If you watch BMF, you know this dude cheated on his wife with this other chick, right? And then his wife found out about it and she kind of went off on him. And I said he was taking L's because she hooked up with this doctor dude. And the doctor dude is showing her a different part. He a doctor, so he got more money. What I didn't like is Charles taking L's. Let me say that because you don't let another man send flowers to your crib that you pay bills at. And she going, the part what was crazy, it was a part she was in the bathroom getting ready. He was like, yeah, where you going? And then she said, no secret, said, I'm going to dinner with Maurice. You literally live in the house with this chick, you paying all the bills, and she finna go out with another dude. Let me tell you something, Charles. When a woman's like that, you it's just better to leave. But what I didn't like is that show. It shows this dude Charles is being deemed to be like a bum. The real Charles Flannery, whatever, he was not a bum. He worked a few jobs. They just, in this era of time, black men didn't really make a whole lot of money. The plants were leaving Detroit. The auto industry was struggling. They needed government subsidies to even stay afloat. So they were laying off a lot of people. And the weird thing was they were laying off a lot of people who look like this, not the people who look like this. These people kept their jobs. These people didn't. So during that time, it wasn't a whole lot of money, but they tried to push off like Charles was just this bum, and he wasn't. He did some jacked up stuff, but Lucille did some jacked up stuff too. Me neither, Harold. I don't. So I'm like, y'all fellas, y'all tell me real quick, who's wrong in this? Lucille held sex from this man for 3 weeks. 3 weeks at a time. because she said she didn't like the money and it was struggling and everything. This man still had to work these 2-3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, and then, you know, she goes out and get a job at Wendy's. You work at Wendy's. Last I checked in 1990s, what was minimum wage? Like $4.25? That was minimum wage. So she worked $4.25. Let's say I bumped up to $5. They wasn't giving you more than 30 hours a week. So you made $150 a week. And what was you paying? What was you paying? He was paying the mortgage. He was trying. The only reason why the mortgage got a problem is because she had financial issues. If a man is bringing home the money, he's trusting you to pay the bills, you have a responsibility to tell him, hey, it's something happening here. We got to make decisions. He thinking everything good, and it's not. So he took an L. So she, in a sense, y'all don't want to admit it. Now, I know you're not going to like it, but she left that door open for that other chick. Now, they said it was her friend. Your friends, that wasn't her real friend. That wasn't her real friend. That wasn't her real friend. So, I hate to be the one to tell you. Free Dave double. You know what, Stetson? Stetson said free double. Wait, no, they was making those back then in the 90s. And Wendy's was it doubles? I'm not sure. I don't know about all that, but that's they're the only person taking a loss, and that's taking L's. This is where we end. But I want to know if you watch this now or you're watching it later, watch this and tell me what you think. And I want to read your comments because this was crazy.
Guys, I just finished my date and I am so embarrassed. I'm not gonna cry here. I'm not gonna cry. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to clean myself up a little bit. He came, and so the whole thing, he went to this restaurant he wanted to go to, and it was a little too expensive, but I don't know, I asked my sister for money. So we went. I had this dress on, and I changed because I had this dress on and everything. And I had my hair out. Like, you know, guys, I cut it, but it wasn't like this. I had it parted a little bit. And so I went, and he was like looking around like, oh, like he was looking for somebody else. And I was like, okay, I'm like, hey, I'm Tia. And then he was like, Tia? I'm like, yeah, it's for me, from BLK. And then he was like looking confused, and he told me to sit down. So I sat down, I smiled, and he didn't smile back at me. And then he was like, I don't look like my pictures. I do look like my pictures. I don't Photoshop anything. I tell everything how it is. I'm going to insert at the end of the video the picture I put in. And he was like, you know, just being so quiet through the meal and all that. He didn't even want to pay. I said, hey, I didn't bring my money with me. And then he eventually paid. And then now he sent me a request to pay for the food. And that's not, I just don't understand. Why are men like this? Men are evil.
I don't like what she put that men are evil. And when I went to the comment section on this video, they were all in agreement. They were saying, man, they were saying, this is a beautiful. They was like, man, no, keep your head up. You beautiful. Now, it wasn't men saying this. The only men that I saw saying this when I went to their page, it was like, it's raining, man. Hallelujah. It was those. But men like me that like women, none of them were saying anything. It was mostly women catering to mediocrity, saying, you're beautiful. But I got the pictures that some of the pictures that she showed. Check this out. This is one of the pictures. And I need your help here. I'm not good with this. I do Photoshop. I'm dope with Photoshop. But these filters be having me bugging. Is this filters? Is this filters? Tell me, is this filters? The picture right here, is this filter? Now, for what I learned, these pictures she posted was also of her younger. I just had a conversation with somebody today. It was crazy. But this is a picture of her younger. Is this filtered, right? Okay, Shatina is a woman, says this is filtered. Okay, what about this one? You can clearly see the filter on this one, though. You can clearly see the filter on this one. Keldra says she looks okay. Keldra says she looks okay. That's fine. That's fine. But I disagree with you. And not in this picture, yeah. So this was filtered. What about this one? This one doesn't look as filtered, but it's from an angle that looks different from what she looks in the video. It looks different from the video. This looks a little filtered. I'm not sure. She got that ridiculous baby hair that y'all be doing. It looks filtered though. It does. This one looks younger, but it also looks filtered. That's it. So here's another one. This one, I don't know. Man, but don't worry, I'm here, Harold. But so this one doesn't look as filtered, right? So you put up, say, Rob. But look, this is the way she showed up to the date. This was her date night. This is what she looked like. This is what she looked like on her date night, right? And I got another picture of what she looked like on her date night. This is the way she looked on her date when she showed up and he saw her. This is what she had on. I'm going to do that again. That needs to be seen. Look, this is what she looked like. When she showed up to her date, that's what she looked like. That's what she looked like. Dude, does this picture look anything like the other pictures I showed you? Does this look like any of the other pictures I showed you? Does it? It does not. And here's the ultimate picture that she posted. This is her. This is her. I have nothing against bigger women. I don't. Y'all know my preference. I said it all day. I can deal with a bigger woman as long as it's proportion. You got to have, something, that I like. That's cool. But my point is this. This picture doesn't look like what she was sending, what was on her page. So in essence, in my opinion, she did catfish this man. So for all these people that saying she didn't catfish him, he lied. She did catfish him. You said pandemic. He was nice for staying around. And I agree. Rob, I agree, Rob. Rob preaching today. But she did stay. This is why you really, first date should be just, I want to see you dolled up, but I'm more interested in what you look like without the makeup. If I'm attracted to you without the makeup, then I'm going to love you to death with the makeup. These filters getting out of hand. Some of y'all making y'all nose skinnier. Some of y'all got look, every skin is with blemishes. It happens. It's just, you can have really good skin, but you can still have some blemishes here and there, and that's okay. But the first time, I think you should be in your natural. I think people should see your natural, or do the no makeup. But all these filters and stuff that y'all can do, it's too out of hand. And I really believe she was catfish. Now, having said that, this is the way you handle this as a gentleman. You still finish the date. You still be a gentleman. And then you just end. And if she calls you, then you tell her. Or if y'all have a discussion, be like, But see, that's the question. How do you tell somebody that wasn't physically attractive to you? You can't. Not in 2024. It's hard to say anything without you getting lit up. So how do you say, well, he did say you didn't look like the pictures. I guess he felt offended. Should he have gotten mad, though? I guess that's another good question. If you showed up totally different from what I saw, because the way she showed up to the date wasn't what he saw. That's not, I'm pretty sure that doesn't look like that. That doesn't look like that. That doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like that. This looks totally different from those pictures. No. He said, quit showing that. Why do I have to pay for that? You lied to me. I should. And I agree. Me personally, I still would have stuck it out. I'm not against a man being mad and be like, hey, you tried to play me for a fool. I'm not against that. Me personally, I would have just said, hey, let's talk about sports. How long you been playing football? I mean, just something. I mean, I would have did something, finished out the night or whatever, because you may gain a friend, even if y'all ain't gonna kick it and not like that. She might be cool. You know, y'all could go work at the factory together. Y'all could do stuff like that. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. Y'all might have something in common. Y'all might have entered to the woodchucking, lumberjack contest or something, or y'all both may have been firemen. It's something y'all could have found together. But I get that, fellas, and Rob is actually sharing the sentiments of a lot of men in the comment section that was saying, no, she played him. She tried to push herself off. And I think what really, really did it for him is he finally got to see, what we ain't gonna talk about. The elephant in the room. I wish I do got an elephant. I don't feel like looking for it. So when she comes showing up, and he looking for a knockout, and he looking see her, and it's not really. And I'm gonna show him one more time. I don't care what y'all. Nah, he just wasn't feeling it. He a linebacker. There was no conversation at that dinner the way she was so embarrassed. Now, do you think she should have put that on men? She said men are so horrible. And I guess what I want to say is this. What I want to ask is, do you think of men, because we are visual, we go by what we see. Is that too much for some of you to handle? Because if it is, then I don't know what to tell you. Because he was expecting to see a woman that he was attracted to. And I think he just got really offended that what he saw was a far cry from what he thought he was getting. And so if you want to be the man, the dude he paid for the meal and then sent her a request on Cash App and told her to pay him his money back. I think this is another reason why I'm against going to these expensive restaurants on first dates, though. Because there's no coming back. It's the request for the money that has to be back. Dude, that's what I'm saying. It's never. What you mean it's never too much for you? Oh, wait. Let me scroll up to what Donnell said. She a chin. I really want to stay here and chat with y'all because I'm enjoying reading these comments. I'm really done now. I'm just reading comments. But Donnell, yeah, you said she's on the Temu version. I don't have a problem with big women either, but I just don't. It's not my preference. I got, not to, share, but I got a figure that I like, and it's a way that I like women that I want to look, and if you like big women, that's fine. That's not my thing. It's never too much. Oh, it is too much. Oh no, I don't agree with that. Then you need to be. So let me ask you this, Keldrick. Would you date a woman from 600 Pound Life? Would you date a woman from 600 Pound Life? That's my question. You seen that show, 600 Pound Life? Would you date a woman from there? You said it's never too much. So I want to know, would you date them? I think that's cap. I think everybody has a limit. Even the worst one had. I'm not a little dude. I'm 255 pounds. I'm not a little dude. I'm 255, bro. And I'm not no little dude. I'm pretty husky. I'm not no little dude. If I love her, I understand what you're saying. I'm really trying to understand what you're saying, but my point is this: majority of men, they ain't going for. If you go out with a woman, can we agree? If you go out with a woman, you want the woman that you see coming down to see you looking at least similar to what you saw in the pictures. Can we agree on that? Now, to be honest, for good pics, we're kind of terrible as well. Oh, Rob, you have no chill. How tall are you? If she's 6'8", 9", then 600 pounds ain't. Oh God, Jeremy. Now, to be honest, her good picks were terrible as well, and you can tell they're MySpace. Oh God, he got to do his part in pain, and I agree. I agree. I mean, if you know that's not your cup of tea, you got to do your homework. Yeah, you got to do your homework on that, man. You just cannot. I don't think you should just be showing up to these dates not knowing. Somebody actually said you should have FaceTimed her. But is there a way you can still hide some aspects of that in the FaceTime, right? You can hide some of that in FaceTime. Don't FaceTime. Wait a minute. FaceTime got filters now, right? But I think FaceTime does have filters now, right? Am I wrong? I don't do much FaceTiming, really. I really don't. I'm more of an in-person kind of. Yeah, he should have FaceTimed her. Have I dated someone taller than me? Yeah, of course. I mean, I've dated women taller than me. I've dated women shorter than me. I mean, really, but I've never dated any woman that's beyond that size. I don't, like I said, I've dated bigger women before, but they were all proportion. I don't date, it's a certain physique that I kind of am attracted to. And if that's your thing, that's fine. It just ain't mine. I thought it was just for the background though. Sound like they're on the dating site. So you gotta over research. But how do you play that though, Rob? Like if you're on a dating site, right? And you meet a chick, because trust me, Facebook dating is hilarious. It's hilarious. So if you're on a dating site and you see a chick, right? And then you FaceTime her and she looks remotely close to that, right? So what happens? And like I said, she could put on all that makeup. So you really, to be honest with you, are you really on there saying, hey, next time you call me, don't have makeup on? Now, I think that's what we should do. We should be like, hey, when you FaceTime me, no makeup. No makeup, no wig, nothing. Show me what I'm going to wake up to. How many do you really think she would go for it? You think she would go for it, Rob? Stetson, Jeremy, help me out. He said, let me see that full body. But would she go for it? Because believe it or not, some of them might be like, nah, I'm not doing that. You ain't my husband. You gonna see me on the date. But you know what? The ones that hide, they probably got something to, yeah, the ones that say no, they probably got something to hide. Because the baddies with the bodies, they don't care. They'll show you they full figure. Because that's their best asset. But I think the big test would be when you see me, no makeup or whatever, FaceTime me the way you would look. That's why Kevin Samuels was masterful at that. He was like, what do you look like fresh face out the shower? Basically, he was saying, what do you look like when you first wake up? How do you rank yourself? He was masterful at that. I mean, I think people just didn't like the way he said things, but he was masterful for that. Oh, sweet Jesus. If every time I call, y'all, wow, bro. Rob, I think I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Yeah, we gonna talk. Donnell, y'all, wow. He said every time I call you, you look like Rob. Why are you like this? He said, if every time I call you, you look like Wizard Gary. Oh, Jesus. Y'all got me calling on the name of the Lord on my own thing. I'm really done. I'm just reading these comments. Y'all, wow. Full body, you need to extend your screen. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I don't let all the priestess lay. Oh, you must be watching later. Okay. Man, dude, y'all Rob, my boy. I'm about to get you on here. If you this funny, gotta get Rob on there. That's the dude. This guy right here, Rob, is probably the best, one of the best engineers ever, y'all. If you a church, you need to call him for consultation, to do your setup, to something. He got an amazing ear. He can hear, and his mixes are so pristine. They so crystal clean. You can hear every freaking thing. And I just love, well, he's a bass player too, but I just love what he does for our bass. He makes my worst sounding basses sound great. Prop the phone up and let me. But dude, how can they do that though? Rob, I've been in situations like this where I've been FaceTime this chick And I know you're going to rip me to shreds, Rob, but I FaceTimed her. We talked and everything, but nothing could attest for what I saw when I finally saw you up close and personal. I promise you, nothing can prepare me. Nothing. Because what you see is, men, what you see is what we get. We can't hide behind makeup. The most we can get is what's that called? Enhancements when we get our hair cut. And I really don't use it that often. Rob is a fool, Shanette. You hear me? But how can you? So it's like, it's really no protection from it. There's really no protection from it. It's like you FaceTime them, they look decent. Then you see them up close. And I think even if you could get a body pic, I think a lot of them will feel offended. Like you tell them stand up, like the Kendra Cam. Stand up and let me see what you look like or whatever. Not the black spray. Man, hey, look, yeah, the black spray. What do you put on your beard? This is my beard. There's nothing on my beard. I don't really put nothing. I just line it, and I do a razor blade, Jabba the Hutt. I don't put nothing on my beard. It's just I'm gray, in some areas, but the women love to spray if that's in your beard. I mean, I haven't seen many women complain about men getting enhancements like that. I think they complain when it's overly done. Like if it's just really just there to add some, make it more sharp or crispy, then I've never seen a woman have a problem with it. I think what they have a problem with is if you like, say for instance, you have a really bad line and it's all crazy, and then you just spray and they can clearly see this mug shining on your forehead. That's overdone. When you got a beard that's a struggle beard, and I don't have a struggle beard, but like if you got a struggle beard and clearly it's not your beard, it's not as full. My beard is full. So you ain't got a full beard and they can clearly see the spray. I think that's what they mean. And for men, I like a more natural look, but if you got makeup on, I just don't want you to look like a totally different person, unless of course it calls for it. Like if we going somewhere where I say, hey, you got to do it, then you should know this. But like, I'm not against makeup. Yeah, that struggle beard. Yeah, I have gray in the beard. I'm 49. I'm gonna have some gray. So I'm older. But believe it or not, some women like the salt and pepper, which is probably why I never color it. But if a woman say, hey, why don't you try it? I would try something different. Some men do put what's that, Beijing in their beard. Some men do that. I mean, it's just I just really think that like when you start to get to the filters, men don't have filters. There's not many filters for men. I think the women, they kind of sometimes overdo the filter. So when you finally see them up close and personal, which is what I think happened here, that he was totally disappointed by what he saw. And I think he handled it in a way that obviously he felt was best. He wanted her to pay for the meal and she upset with it, but I don't think that she should be that mad at him because what he saw wasn't what he saw in the picture. I mean, I showed you what she looked like. Why would women complain about the black spray when everything on them is paid for? I mean, if they were go missing and DNA was used to find, it would come back to miss. Oh my God. Oh my God. Darnell. Oh, Darnell. Between you and Rob, I'm gonna have to end this thing because I'm gonna have y'all on here. If y'all gonna be clowning like this in my conversation, gotta have you over here to talk about some of these things because y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. But last thing, I'm gonna ask on my way out. If you were married to a woman and she didn't give you sex for 3 months, what would happen? To my fellas, my wife, my sisters, to your husband, because some of y'all claim to have high drives. If you were married to a man and you didn't have sex with him for whatever reason for 3 months, how would you handle it? That's my question. How would you handle it? If you with a woman, fellas, you married. See, when you in a relationship, you can easily just be like, I'm out. But in marriage, it's you and her. That's different. You married, and your wife, not because she on the fast and seeking the Lord, but because she just, I'm too tired. I don't want to. It's been 3 months. What happens there? Oh, that's why my first days need to be a Starbucks. I'm spending like, you stupid first date need to be a Starbucks. I know that's right, but I'm curious to know. I can't do that. You can't do that as a wife. I agree, and I'm thinking about that now because that's been a thing. You know, I saw this one video. It's probably one of the most disturbing videos I've seen in a long time. Where this woman said, "If my man ain't doing right, I just won't give him sex." And I'm only using it in the context of marriage because you know that's the place where it's supposed to be. I ain't gonna judge you. Hey, I'm not here for that. But you get where I'm going. 3 months. Be tired and go to sleep sometimes when they fake sleep, and then don't be the even if I'm mad at him, I'm not mad at him below. You know what, Shanette? We not doing this tonight. And so for me, and I'm gonna leave after this. I think we forget we love the Bible when it's good for us. We don't like it when it ain't. The Bible is clear. You don't withhold sex from your spouse. Your body no longer belongs to you. It belongs to him. Your body no longer belongs to you. It belongs to her. You're not supposed to withhold sex. But it's a new movement, and y'all gonna see it. Y'all heard it here first, but I've been seeing it. They've been saying if he ain't doing right, I'm gonna hold sex from him. That's the most dangerously stupid thing you can do to any man that's worth anything. Any man that's worth anything. That you asking for it. I'm not saying he right, but I'm telling you right now, you just you just don't do that, especially if you married. But see, I think people don't look at marriage the same. I'm not married, but I can tell you this. Marriage is supposed to be you. You are basically saying it's you forever. And I think right now it's too easy to divorce. We could get divorced. Oh man, butterfly fell on my car. I'm divorcing you. I mean, we made it too easy to divorce, but I just think that once it's just you and him, it's just you and him. That's it. And you telling this man that has to come home to you every night with a log that you ain't gonna even fulfill his needs. Nah. Who's the cleanup woman? Oh, he gonna 100% will cheat. And that's my question, Rob. And I promise you I'm gonna go. Check this out, Rob. Is he really cheating at that point? If this is the contract, I'm supposed to be with you, you're supposed to be with me, and you haven't been sick, you're nothing like that, you're just withholding it from me. Is that not a breach of contract? Because that's all marriage is. We made it all this extra stuff, but it's really a contract. What you think a vow is? A vow is you saying, I'm going to do this. This is a contract. It's a verbal contract. So if one of the vows is, you know, it's a foregone conclusion that you're supposed to have sex with your husband as part of being married. So if you in breach of contract, how can he cheat on a contract that you breached? That's something to think about. Let me read this comment. I agree. He would be sick of me going to be like, I'm tired. Sir, drink some Gatorade. And I love you guys. I'm definitely going on that one. See y'all next week. Lord.